Well, Thelma, my grandmother, just a wonderful, wonderful lady. She lived to be 92, and I had the opportunity, my husband and I, when we moved back to St. Louis, she still was living by herself and was very independent, and I think is indicative because her nickname was Salty Dog. So she was one of 9 kids growing up, and again, growing up during the Depression, you learn to do with little, and you love what you do have. But so when my husband John and I, when we moved back to St. Louis, my grandmother was at a point where she really couldn't be living on her own, and just from being able to get up and downstairs, those types of things. And so my husband John and I, we had the privilege to go and live with her for her last remaining months. And I always kind of feel like Grandma hung on until I moved back to St. Louis. And so we did, and we had about 3 or 4 precious months together, with her. And would love walking out in her garden and for her just to talk about her plants and what she was growing. And so today that's a passion of mine, is to garden. And so whenever I need to have some therapy, I'll go dig in the dirt and get some dirt underneath my fingernails, and it's just the best feeling because it just brings me closer, to her. And I love her stories. And so also for the young women who are watching this, is that, treasure those stories that your parents, your grandmother, your aunts, your uncles tell you. Treasure those, because those are going to go forward with you. And there's another story in particular that I love. It's the story of my grandmother and her sister, my great aunt Frida. They were out in the barn. And so this is a funny story because they were out in the barn, and they were probably, I don't know, maybe goofing off, I would imagine. And so they were teenagers. And there was somebody that was coming to knock on the barn door, I guess to ask a question, and they were looking for Frida. Well, they put my Aunt Frida up in a cotton sack and hoisted her up the barn, or whatever, the ledge with the hoist, so they couldn't find her. So they came in, they're looking for Aunt Frida. Well, she was in the cotton sack. And so they were always playing practical jokes, on each other, and just having fun, just having a good time. They didn't have TV, they didn't have radio, they didn't have anything. But they would, find the fun in the environment. They'd find the fun, with each other. So just, treasure those times and those memories.